Hello. Let me just. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. I'm already starting to sweat. Oh my God. Anywho, I'm going to be doing a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also for your cross watchers. Also for those of us who find ourselves on this channel without any Piscean anything. You're probably an empath and you're probably needing messages from your soul. Okay. So let me just get some cards ready. Pull from that deck. Pull from this deck. And then let us pull from this deck. Have a whole bunch of decks. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me okay now? Can you hear me okay now? Oh my goodness. Hold on, guys. One second. I'm just gonna, I have to test my audio just because. There. All right. Let me see. Testing. Sounds good. Does it sound good now? Okay. Let me just pause this video. We'll keep it right here. All right. No. Sorry for yelling. Sorry for yelling. All right. Put this back. Okay, let's get started. So I'm doing a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also for your cross watchers. Also for those of us who find ourselves on this channel without any Piscean anything. You're probably an empath. You're probably needing messages from your soul. I asked what this reading was going to be. So moves are being made, right? Whatever's going on, it's happening kind of like in silence, which I kind of feel like that's how it has to be. Like these silent moves that are being made, because I feel like it feels like there is someone or something outside of whoever this reading will be for that's not really interested in allowing you to move forward with your life. So, gotta be careful who you tell. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Okay, let's just get some cards. 3, 6. Oh, gosh, this is a huge topic for me lately. The whole topic of surrender. Surrendering to the will of soul. This full submission to the will of soul. So, oops, we'll do 3, 3. Set that aside. And then we're going to pull a couple more from this deck right here. Ooh, okay. We have 2, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So we're gonna go ahead and organize this in some way. Princess of Winter, inquisitive, truthful, realistic, and undiplomatic. Information that can help you, but which may also be difficult to hear. Speaking the truth with kindness, an indigo child or adult. So this right here, it's like receiving information that feels very cold. The emotion of it seems cold. Like maybe part of you prefers to receive your information in a more delicate type nature. But really though, if you prefer delicate type communication and you are in the situation that you're in, and all the type of communication you ever allow yourself to receive is delicate, that's not working for you. Okay. That's probably very difficult to hear, but I mean, we have to be realistic. If you keep doing the same thing and having the same results and you're not happy in your life right now, that means you need some type of change. That means whatever you've selected for yourself is either the issue itself or it's enabling the continuation of the issue that you continue to struggle with. So now is the time for your message to be received in a different manner, to be delivered and received in a different manner. It's up to you though. It's up to you, but just know, like, I'm gonna call you out on your stuff. Okay. First and foremost, I'm gonna call you out on your stuff. And what I'm sensing is, for some, you don't want to actually hear what's going on. You want to hear what is supporting a story that you've told yourself. And this is just really not the place for that. This is a place where you're going to hear the truth as I interpret it. So that's key to know. These are my interpretations of this message that I'm receiving. So with that, who's to say I'm any more right than you? Right? I might not be. I might be wrong. But we're not here for right or wrong. We're here to receive a message in a different way. We're here to receive a message that we can choose to interpret in a different way. And however way you choose to receive these messages and interpret them is what will determine how helpful anything and everything I say today will be for you. This is about exiting those places of disillusionment. Someone is making moves silently. Is it you? Is it your life? Are you making these plans that are causing you to feel afraid and you know, because you're afraid, you want to get confirmation that you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing. It's not you that's the problem. I don't know that that's what the message is about today, though. I think the message is all about surrendering. I think the message is all about really just giving in to what your soul is asking you to experience. So the past few days, I've been in this intensive workshop, and the workshop, the reason I decided to participate in the workshop is because I'm trying to learn about launching nonprofits, okay, nonprofit organizations. And it turned out being something that's not just about nonprofits, but really about solidifying within the clarity of my ability to see what I'm here to do. And in those questions that I had to answer, it was a long workbook that I had to fill out. And the questions that I had to answer to help solidify who my target group is that I will be trying to advocate for and assist, I came to the realization that really The target group is me, reflections of me. This is a process of me healing myself from the outside in. That every time I see another person beneficially affected, it helps to heal another part of me. So the question was, who is my who? Who am I doing all of this for? For myself. And then came the question of, why do you think God chose you for this? Why do you think you were given the vision that you were given? And it was this realization of, I wasn't chosen for this. Because I wasn't chosen for this purpose. I was created for it. And then after that, it was just this realization, here I am. Full surrender. This full surrender to the will of soul. This complete forehead to floor surrendering. And as part of that exercise, I needed to add 2 more questions of why this and why that. And I had to make up the questions myself to dive deeper. But in that moment of realization that I wasn't chosen for this purpose, I was created for it. This is why I came into this life. This is why I breathe. There were no questions left. None. There was just this huge space of full, complete surrender to the process that I'm in. What process is that? We will see it unfold. But how will it unfold? I don't know, but I know it will. And I know at this point, there's no like dragging my feet. I've fully surrendered. In that moment of full surrender, I was just like, whoa. Oh, wow. Wow. Dang. Okay, well, it makes sense now. It makes sense why like my butt's on fire to do this. And I remember, I think it was yesterday, I had said something like, my goal is to have all of this filed by my mother's birthday, which is the 18th of this month. And I'm just like, I don't know if I'll get it done then. You know, like maybe the end of the month, maybe next month. And this program that I'm in, they're willing to give you a $500 grant off of their filing services, but you have to book them by Wednesday. I was just like, oh my God, where am I going to get this money from? And here's the thing. If I have to book by this coming Wednesday, then that means it's going to be done by her birthday. So really, there's no more. There is just no more excuses, no more dragging the feet. When I fully surrendered in that moment last night, it was a full surrender. And I found that out last night that, oh no, they're not going to keep that offer indefinitely where you have months on end to decide. No, it's by Wednesday. So I'm just like, all right, I'll make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. This full surrender, this changing the perspective, changing your positioning in order to be able to see the same thing in a completely different way. I mean, apply this to your life. Apply this to your relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, business relationships. How does it apply? All of your connections, all of the people in your life right now, they are helping to further something. And what they're helping to further ties into your purpose, the reason you were born. See, let's not be just the average person. Let us not. Let's be exactly what we were meant to be. Someone who understands that much deeper, someone who is capable, and I mean capable of that quantum thinking, quantum processing. Do you know the difference between a quantum learner and a neurotypical person? Do you guys know the difference? A neurotypical person needs to learn in a linear way. Quantum people, you give them enough components, and it might be 3 components out of a 15 component thing. And if they've developed it enough, 3 components is all I need. I can get you through that entire labyrinth based off of those 3 components. I can project out into the future. What's the next part? And from that positioning, I can project further. What's the next part? And each time I'm jump skipping more and more spaces in between each. And it all makes sense to me. It's all logical. But see, society would tell you, no, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong because you're not following the steps. You're not showing your work. But now is a time for you to move in silence. That doesn't mean keeping secrets. That means instead of wasting time jabber, jabber, jabber to people who really maybe are just existing in your journey as the opposition to your truth, use a lot of that focus on what you're trying to do, what you are trying to create, accomplish, achieve. And, you know, it's not to say that you need to cut all of these people out. I realize the people who are in my life that serve as the opposition to my truth, they exist because whenever they oppose my truth, it provides me an opportunity to choose plugging away at that truth. Okay? Well, Ocean Lover asks, is it okay for you to share the amount needed by Wednesday? I'm sure many in the collective will help, and that will be that much less that's needed. It's $2,497, $2,497. I graduated in 1997. 24 hours a day. I'm expected to master and graduate every lesson presented before me. That's how I know it's a sacred number. $2,497. I'll figure it out. I'll figure something out, and it will work. Donations do help. Contributions, you can send that to my website, thesoulsanctuary.love. And yeah, it's just one of those things where I fully exist in this space of I'm willing to do the work, and I'm also now willing to receive for the work that I do. And if it's a matter of me needing to reposition myself to see, I've been doing this work for years now. And that's one of the things that I realized. I didn't know who I was helping because they said, like, pick one person, right? See their face, see their story, pick one person. And then it's like so many people's faces that I see. So I couldn't do it. And thank you guys. And what ended up happening was I ended up asking my kids, like, so who would you say mommy helps? And they were basically like, you help everybody. But if you had to just, like, you know, one person, what type of person? And they're like, but you help everybody. And then came the realization, like, literally, I've been doing nonprofit work as a for-profit company. The entire time I've been publicly visible. I've been doing nonprofit work, philanthropic work, using a for-profit company. And it's just merely a restructuring so that I can better serve the purpose, so that I can better allocate funds, that instead of using it to pay tax liability, that's how many more people that could be fed, clothed, housed, educated, taken off the streets, assisted with, you know, addiction struggles, all sorts of different things. And, you know, you've been living your purpose. You've been living through all of these lessons. And as you go through all of these lessons and you begin to learn more and more about yourself and your purpose, you begin to realize everything that's happened to you was happening for you. Literally for you. Even the difficult things, the difficult moments, these are things that challenge you to rise to higher levels of perspective. It's not because you're not enough down here. It's because you can see much more clearly up here. It's not about your positioning in regards to social standing. It's about clarity of purpose, to fuel your passion, to fulfill the reason you came into this life to begin with. That's beautiful. Finally seeing how everything is kind of, coming together, coming together, coming together. Mother Earth, that's the next card. Yes. It's this realization that we're all here on this earth plane, and we're all kind of reaching a point where we need help understanding ourselves. Why? Is it because we're not capable? Is it because we're not smart enough? No, not at all. It is because we have allowed other people's distorted perceptions to cloud our clarity. When was the last time you became aware of who you are and you didn't have someone tell you in the middle of you celebrating this realization? You didn't have someone come and tell you, ew, why would you think that? Creating more confusion for yourself, right? Causing yourself to kind of wonder, like, whoa, was I mistaken? Am I really not that amazing? I tell you right now, yes, you are that amazing. And if you think amazing is contingent on your level of perfection, not perfection as defined by society. So you are already created perfect, even with your little quirks. Those quirks are what help you to be best suited for whatever your purpose is in this life. And when you begin to realize these people who, again, exist as a form of opposition to who you are, your realization in your process, they oppose your process, not necessarily because they're bad people, but because that's their function in your life. They're gifting you an opportunity, the most profound opportunity to once again choose you. That's powerful. That's powerful. I mean, be grateful for their function in your life, but you don't have to be grateful for the adversity they bring you. Because they could have easily done the same in a more compassionate way. See what I'm saying? They can have that purpose in your life, but just because they have that purpose of inspiring you to once again remember to choose yourself, it's just, so I'm totally fighting myself right now. I'm totally fighting myself because a huge part of me okay, so I got a notification on my phone, right? And I just got another notification after the first one. The second notification says, this is your final reminder. So to kind of help you make sense, I was fighting myself because I got a notification that Moonrock just donated $1,800. That's a lot of money. Thank you, Moonrock. And I was fighting myself to not say, like, honey, you need that more than me. Like, I'll figure out a way to make this happen. But clearly, this is my final reminder that, like I was saying earlier, full submission to the will of soul, right? Full submission. that this is what I was made to do, and that I'm not going to do it alone. And it ties into the fear of like taking from other people. It ties into this feeling of, if I allow myself to receive, then you're going to be doing without. But in reality, are you? No, because I've seen you there. I've seen you living there, and I've just never said it. I don't know if I said it in the private chat, but I've seen you living there. I've seen you keeping track of everything. Oh my gosh. And then Rainbow Flames just donated $238. You guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Seriously. Thank you guys so much. And this is really going to happen. It's already happening. It's already something that so many of us have been waiting for this. You know, so many of us have been waiting for the existence of an organization that really, it's everything that all of us have been waiting for. The type of formal assistance that exists strictly for us. I grew up comfortable. It didn't make me happy. I'm not interested in being rich. I don't see money as a way to happiness. I now see money as a way to achieve the type of purpose I was created for. I just want to thank you guys again. Just so much gratitude for all of you. You guys are amazing. You guys are just so amazing. Oh, and even the cards are talking about it. That we intuitively know what it is we need to do, what it is we're here to do, what process, what part of the process we're currently in. And part of that process is allowing for the abundance to come through, to come in, to be received like a bouquet of flowers, the sweet scent of that community, that togetherness, the willingness to build together the very thing that all of us are needing, all the necessities, and to receive this with a gentleness, not with any fighting of the receiving, not with any shame or guilt or any of that, just gently and graciously allowing yourself to receive, receiving life's lessons, receiving life's graces. It's a really beautiful, beautiful thing. Adventure. We're all on this adventure together, right? We are going to allow ourselves to come forward and take the first steps together. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Thank you, Gaze. Gaze also just donated. Oh my gosh, you guys are so amazing. So last night, I was really just intensely listening, just listening as closely as I could. And towards the end, we were talking about the who, the how, and the the what. The how and the what. The how is like, I couldn't quite grasp it. Like, what's the difference between the how and the what? The how and the what of what you're doing. Thank you, Monica Rose. You guys. Thank you, Hilda. And in that lack of ability to understand, I asked the question, how do you quantify the difference between the how and the what? Because they said the how is your plans of what you're going to implement, and the what is, like the end result. And I was like, oh, light bulb went off. The how is the knowledge, your ability to know what needs to be done. The what is the wisdom, which is the knowledge applied, the knowledge in action. You guys. So we have the how. We have the how. We have the knowledge of what we need to do. What we are working on is taking the next step, and it's simply one fall away from the what, which is the wisdom, the knowledge applied, the knowledge put into action. Do you know that when you walk, it's nothing but a series of controlled falls? Are you aware that's what walking is? You lean forward, and as you're about to fall, before you actually fall, you put your foot forward. And then you lean forward again, and before you actually fall, you put the next foot forward. Life is nothing but a series of falls, interfered with just by supporting you, supporting yourself, before you actually tip too far and fall. Life is nothing but a series of falls. That space that exists between the how and the what, the knowledge and the wisdom, the knowledge applied, which is wisdom. It's one potential fall, halted before you actually do. That's crazy, isn't it? Isn't that crazy? You're afraid to fall, but in that falling, before you actually fall, when you apply what needs to be applied, which is the knowledge that your foot needs to step forward, your other foot needs to come forward, this other part of you needs to come forward. You stop yourself from actually falling, and instead you have a movement that occurs because you chose not to completely fall. It was a simple choice. It was a choice. The only thing that separates you from the how and the what is a single choice. Thank you, Carmen. It's just one little choice. What are you going to choose? If you're afraid to allow another part of you to come forward, you're gonna fall. Thank you, Mariah. Allow the other parts of you to come forward. Allow the other parts of you to be witnessed. The world is waiting for those parts to be seen. And, it's this thing of your ancestors, all of them existed with one goal in mind. In this moment, the only goal that existed was for you to come to fruition. So you have hundreds of thousands of sentient beings who agreed to exist in order to contribute to you, the totality of you, your purpose, this life, this learning. That's huge. That's huge. And now is a time to transition from simply something being brought to fruition, a potentiality, a potentiality. That's all it is a potentiality, right? That's the how. That's the knowledge of what needs to be done, knowledge of the components. All it takes is that one almost fall that one almost fall in order for us to rise. Not just you, but us together. Y'all, oh my God. My assistant Rachel just texted. The count is at $2,261. We're just a little bit over $200 away from filing. And I want you guys to know, I'm not just creating a nonprofit organization. It's not just a foundation. It's an actual church. A real church. It's a church. I'm establishing a faith-based organization that is separate from state. They will not tell me what I can and cannot say. They will not tell me when I can open my doors and when I have to close down. By the end of all of this, I'll be an ordained minister. This is huge. This is huge. And all this time, I never lost my belief in the existence of divinity. I've had people attack me, calling me evil, saying that the work I do is demonic and all of that other stuff. And never once did that feel like truth to me. Never once. Never once have I ever stopped believing and knowing that there is this greater divinity that exists beyond the concepts and capacity of a human being to understand. And never once did I believe that I was created as a disrespect, as an abomination, as something that exists outside of the realm of what is allowed, what is authorized by this divinity to exist. And, you know, people thought that I turned my back to the church, and I turned my back to a specific church because I realized a church already exists inside me. It already exists inside me. So I remember years ago, because I would have these periods, these cycles where I just could not tolerate the toxicity that naturally exists within family units. And I would go quiet and I would be inaccessible. And whenever whenever I would come back around, you know, one of my siblings would call me the prodigal son. Do you guys know the story of the prodigal son? Because absolutely, I'm the prodigal son. I am the prodigal son. All the siblings didn't understand. They didn't recognize the gravity of the need for that son to travel and know the world and know it intimately and still have the grace, the ability to return with grace into the arms of the Father, right? It's not for my siblings in that family of Christ consciousness to understand why I could be given that grace. It's for me to accept it. It's for me to really seriously just step into that role. To just be. To just exist. Exist in the way that I was meant to exist, designed to exist. And the same applies for you guys. I've been the prodigal child my entire life. And it's taken me over 40 years to understand the gravity of what that means when applied to my purpose. We always come back home. Whatever that home is, we always come back home. Because that's where you're safe. That's where you're comfortable. That's where you belong after you've traveled, after you've had your adventure, right? We've been on this adventure of exploring so many different things within ourselves, outside of ourselves, different teachings, dogmas, all sorts of different cultures, none of them wrong or any less valid than what is at home. First and foremost, home exists within yourself. It exists within your heart. It exists processed through your mind. You also have a second home. It's here. Right here. This is home. This is where, just like with family, you can be the you that you've always been without having to hide who that is. And yeah, you know, all of the children are loved. Some can be annoying. Some can be excessively sweet, but all are loved, right? In a healthy household, all are loved. And it's time for us to come back home to a place of love where the walls are made of love. They don't serve to keep things out. They serve as a filter to remove your toxicity before you enter into the sacred space that we share. See, you're still you. It's just your toxicity is filtered out before you enter here. It's okay for you to have those toxic parts, but it's not okay for you to bring that toxicity into such a sacred space. And this, the reason this is so sacred and has to be kept so pure is because this is where we learn the most profound things about ourselves, as is dictated by you. I can talk till I'm blue in the face, but you are the only one who has the power, the authority, the opportunity to decide what you take into yourself, what you allow yourself to take in and believe and process as part of your greater truth. Again, look, transformation. Rising up to that master level and allowing yourself to transform, transforming yourself and your life. Your thoughts are the very first thing that needs to be transformed. Not completely changed, not packaged up and thrown out because it's nonsensical. No. How we do this is we take the thoughts that already exist and we allow them to marry and mature. You know, like there's some foods where you have to make it the night before because you need to let all the flavors kind of just marry and mature, allow them to come together. And the next day, the flavor is so much more robust than the first day when you made it. It's just like that, allowing all of these different flavors that you've sampled through life to be the very seasonings that create the feast for your soul. This is a profound time to live in. This is such a profound time to live in. And we have to start acting like it so the world can see there really isn't that much to be afraid of. Conflict has existed in the world for as long as the world has existed. Do not allow your fear to be harvested. There is a conflict that is at the front and center of that stage that will be resolved. If we continue to allow ourselves to be, bamboozled back into a place of fear, and it's a very real conflict that's happening, okay? We're not trying to diminish what's going on in a specific region. No. That's not the point here. The point is that this is part of the history of the world, of humanity before written time, down to Sumeria, Mesopotamia, and all the other portions of that cradle of life. This is what we do as humans. And this is why we have to transcend that human existence and enter into a state of divinity. You still keep the human body, but you exist on such a high plane that you would never agree to participate in any of that. Not anymore. And this is what we're trying to bring about. This is the type of transformation that needs to occur. These people who only have half the story, where it's like, you just have to meditate, that's all. No, that's the how. We need the what. We are one fall away from the what. And that's what's happening in the world right now. The world is about to fall. But we're the other leg. It doesn't fall if we swing around and catch ourselves. All that happens is we take that step. We bridge that gap between the how and the what, the knowledge and the knowledge applied, that space of wisdom. Card number 34, unconditional love. Unconditional love does not mean enablement of toxicity. I can love you unconditionally and still not allow you to behave in a toxic manner around me. See, unconditional love first must be applied to self. At no point in that space of unconditional love should I be allowed to shame myself and guilt myself into a place of compliance so that you can have access to me and have your way with me. No, I don't think so. No, that's not how it's going to work. Why? Because I don't agree to anything short of that. I don't agree to anything short of us having a mutual level of respect, mutual level of accountability, compassion, and consideration. I won't agree to it. I just won't. I won't. And I'm not sorry. I'm just not. Oh, and Michael just reminded me, I do have to ask the people who are conducting the program. I do believe even at this point, there is a way, unless I misunderstood, there's a way for all of you who have donated to receive a tax-deductible donation receipt. I love it. Yes. Tax-deductible donation. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Okay. Intuition. So, wow, again, so transformation and intuition came out in two separate decks. Transformation and intuition. Whatever we are transforming into, we intuitively already know which direction to go. We intuitively already have all of the schematics that are necessary to take this to the next part, that next level of awareness. Again, spiritual people speak so much and for so long about consciousness, consciousness this, consciousness that, consciousness, 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 5D, 12D, 8D, Christ consciousness, all sorts of consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. All of that already exists within you. You don't even have to work for that. You don't have to work to develop that. That's already well developed. It's eternal and it's exponential. You don't have to do anything with consciousness. See, what they're not understanding and what I want you to understand in order to empower yourself is that what you're here to work on while in human body is awareness, awareness of self, awareness of your environment, awareness of the effects, that butterfly effect that you have on your environment. It's that awareness that you have the power to cultivate, that you are tasked and obligated to cultivate. It's your awareness. Are you aware of what level of dimensional consciousness you are operating at? And that's not to give you a sense of where you are on that hierarchy. No, not at all. That's to help you understand. Michael points out 86% at 851, 86, 86. 8 is the number of reunification, 6 is the number of receiving, which leads to another 8, which is a number of merger, reunification, which leads to another round of receiving. 8 plus 6 is 14. 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 and 5, 55. Change, elevated. And that elevated change comes together to form 10. The how. This is where we're at right now. The how. And it's that one fall away from the what, which is the knowledge applied. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you guys, this is just I don't know. I don't know. This is getting real deep. We have planted the seeds. All we have to do is cultivate them just for a little bit. And then we'll have an entire garden to enjoy. A garden with beautiful plants, beautiful blossoms, a garden that will sustain us during lean times. This garden of life that we live in, if we didn't interfere, if we didn't allow our fears and insecurities to interfere, the garden would have been able to sustain itself. It would have grown everything from the aesthetic plants to the plants that will go ahead and provide food, sustenance. It could have grown everything together synergistically. Oh, by the way, 88% at 853. I love it. 88% at 853. 888. 5 plus 3 is 8. 888. I love that. There's going to be good things coming. And it's going to happen quickly. These good things will serve as evidence of divine promises unfolding and being honored. All of us have been promised something in exchange for a promise we made to the world. All of these are being activated and collected upon. Okay? We have to just take a deep breath. We have to just allow ourselves to take this very, very deep breath, sink deeply into this place of submission, surrender to the will of your soul, the trajectory of your life and purpose. Stand always with integrity. Times will get rough. Okay? The next few months will be rough. It will be rough for the world. And I think a lot of the pain that will occur in the world is the hand of creation itself sanding down all the rough spots. Just a sanding down of all the rough spots. We are like a beautiful sculpture, nearly complete. It has its form. It has the general design already carved in. Now is the time for the nuanced details to come forward. And in order to do that, we have to surrender to that scraping away the callus that's formed on our hearts, on our throats, in our minds, this overgrowth to protect ourselves from other people in this world. And, you know, the reality is, in general terms, most people are good people. They just are. Thank you, Teresa. Most people are just good people. We are good people who have been hurt by other hurt people who are also good people, and kind of figured out how to protect ourselves by hiding away, by developing a callus this thickening, a thickening of our identity. But when you thicken that, it makes it a lot harder to feel. We were made into feeling beings for a reason. Have you ever wondered why, as babies, as newborns, when one newborn cries, any newborns who hear it will also cry? Way back when, we existed in a state that I've heard of this term, and I loved it, Ubuntu. This community, this village, this existence of a group of people who, when one person, messes up or does something bad, they bring them into the center of that village space, that community, and they're surrounded by all of these people who knew them from infancy, and they're reminded of all the goodness and potentiality that they forgot they have, instead of chastising and punishing. And I feel like if we were able to do that for each other before things got too bad, we would have never been in this place we're at right now. But at the same time, this here and now that we're existing within, it's also a gift in that we understand through so many generations why the way our ancestors first existed is so important. We have to go back home to that. We have to heal the fallen patriarchy, not villainize them, not villainize the males. We have to heal together, the feminine and the masculine. We have to heal together. We have to reestablish this balance between the matriarch and the patriarch. Each serves a proper role. And it's in this, teaching people, you don't need no blah, 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 blah. No, we need each other. Knock it off. We need each other. We need each other. We really, truly do. We need each other. And that's just another form of separation and division, a storyline that they keep trying to perpetuate. Stop it. Do you understand? I've worked with thousands of people, okay? Thousands of documented clients. This does not include the work that I did before 2017. This is just from 2017. Thousands of clients. I don't think I've met a single one that hasn't had multiple lifetimes. It's more common to have someone who's lived upwards of 15, 20 lives. That's more common. If we're going to be really honest, I would say about 50 or more lives. That's more like the basic person, has lived about 50 lives or more. That's what I see all the time. And with that, do you understand, on a soul level, you've pretty much lived on every continent, have been pretty much every level of melanin content. Literally, all of you are my ancestors in one way or another. In one way or another, all of you are my ancestors. How can I hate on you? How can I feel separate from you? I can't. I can't. I can't. There's no way. There's no way that I can. There's just no way. I have a very distinct knowing, some way, shape, or form. We have all existed together in a different life. Each of us having connected with the other at some point in one of our previous existences. We all know each other. We all do. I mean, that doesn't mean it's all been peaceful, but it also doesn't mean that we have to repeat what wasn't. We have choices to make. This is a new life with new opportunities. Why the heck would we choose the same thing over and over? That's not the point here. So let's see, 5 of Spring. Opposing goals arising from differing opinions. Feeling at odds with yourself or others. Overly ambitious people. Mm-mm-mm. That even though, there's opposing goals, like what I was just talking about, even though we have differing opinions, differing viewpoints, differing history in this life, hailing from differing regions, uh, we all still have the same needs: peace, nurturing, support, community, a home. We need a place where we feel at home. And in that, this is your opportunity now to choose that for yourself. See, you can't be held accountable for something you didn't know. And now you're being made aware of all of these things. Now you're being held accountable by your soul to choose what's in your highest good, what's in your greatest good. And if you're not going to choose that, I mean, no one else can force you to, except your life. Because when you live in alignment, life somehow gets easier. You still have certain types of struggles. You still will have moments of emotion. You'll still have these periods where you feel like you don't understand why you have to be here, why you have to live through this, why that. You'll still have those moments. But everything kind of just falls into place a lot easier, more seamlessly. It's a really beautiful, beautiful thing when we allow it to be. When we don't, well, then you'll be dragged. Not by someone else, but by the own progression of your lessons, of your soul. Let's see. Generous, stylish, gracious, practical. Be practical with respect to how you proceed. The ability to make anything more beautiful. Meeting someone who can help your dreams come true. There it is. Having caution does not mean being paralyzed. It does not mean being crippled and incapable of moving forward in your journey. Having caution means you're assessing everything. You're making sure you're aware of all the different options that exist in order for you to be able to properly, safely, cohesively function and move forward. Okay? Two of Summer, falling in love or making a serious commitment to someone. Forgiveness and the resolution of a problem. Don't give up. Your relationship can be healed. And I feel like this is about a relationship with yourself that can be healed. Just because you've made poor decisions before does not mean you have to continue making poor decisions. And just because you've made poor decisions in the past when you didn't know any better and didn't have the life experience to be expected to know better does not mean you have to be ashamed of what you've lived through to help you know better. You see how that works? When you begin to assess your life and you begin to take a good hard look at where your life has taken you, you begin to really understand. My life has been teaching me this whole time. Wow. Just like with this next step that I'm taking with the progression of my spiritual journey and purpose. This entire time that I've been publicly visible, it hasn't been that long, you guys. It's only since 2017. It has not been that long. The type of progression that I've had, I never lost sight of what the purpose was, what the end goal is for this part, right? I never lost sight of that. But boy, oh boy, the ways I've changed and grown. Just a few short years. And those of you who have been with me since 2017, because there's quite a few of you who've been with me since 2017. You've been with me since my Facebook days. You guys have seen me change and blossom into the woman that I actually am at this point. And I'll continue to change and grow, not because who I am right now is not enough, but because I have so much more to offer, so much more to give. And it can only happen as I shave down more layers so I can shed more of the layers and levels that I created to protect myself during earlier life. See, when you step into your power, you begin to realize there's less and less you need to protect yourself from, because more and more you allow that internal power to come out and be witnessed. And you have less and less fear of what people will say, what people will do, because you have a more defined knowing and acceptance of that knowing that whatever happens, you can handle it. You will get through it because you have no other choice but to. That's your only option. And what a beautiful option it is. What a powerful option to get through everything that life sends your way so that you can have further proof just how powerful you are. People have often asked me, I mean, how can you still care about other people? How can you still want to give of yourself, give so much, so often? Like, these people have been so ugly to you. Those are just some minimal few. And those minimal few who tried so hard, they served as a fuel for my rise. So the many, 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 plenty, plenty, plenty who do see me, the truth of me, who have love for me, they can see me better. See, I'm positioned in a place of elevation, not because I'm better than you, but because it serves my purpose much more. There's this card in the Rumi deck, and as part of the explanation, it talks about, if you are a candle, if you're created to be a candle for divinity, you need to be put in a proper placement to best serve your purpose. In a time of darkness, you don't keep the candle in the closet out of fear that the people who need that light to see will be offended that, you're being favored. No. You place it up high so the light can bounce off of as much surface as possible to help as many people as possible find their way back onto their path so they can get back home to themselves. That was such a huge moment of realization for me, where I was afraid to be placed in a position that's much more visible than other people, because I was afraid that people would think that I thought I was better than everyone, and I just don't feel like I am. I don't feel like I'm worse either, though. I feel like I kind of just exist, and my existence carries a meaning that maybe I don't have the maturity yet to understand. And that was way back when. And now, as I've lived through more, having developed more maturity because of the struggles I've been through, place me as high as you need. People need to see. They need to be able to see. I'm no longer afraid that people will think I'm better than you. No. I realize now the only people who had that really negative perception were people who saw the gravity of me. And in that seeing my truth, a truth they believe, quite possibly more than I believe myself, it showed a light on how little they're doing for their growth. It triggered their cognitive dissonance. It was never about me. And when I realized that all of these things that occurred over the past couple years, where people have gone out of their way to tear me down, it was never about me. They never really actually thought I was evil. These were the people who believed the most the gravity of what I was created to do. And in that moment of realization, it caused them to understand they haven't been living up to their potential, their purpose. Someone else's issues with cognitive dissonance cannot be my own. I cannot adopt that as my own. I have too much work to do in this life, too much to accomplish for all of us. It's not for me. My husband has done very, very well at making sure we've never missed a meal. Every bill has been paid. For much of our marriage, he's been the sole breadwinner. It's afforded me the opportunity to stay home and focus on raising our children. We can easily go back to that. I have no problem with a simple life. I mean, I don't live an extravagant life anyways. Even now, I don't. I'd be perfectly fine living a life away from any type of public visibility. But here's the thing. I wouldn't be fine not living up to my purpose. I would feel as though I'm failing as a mother because I'm teaching my children to shrink themselves and not be the gift they were born to be, a gift unto humanity as well as unto themselves. So, what's the only option? To push through. To push through and to become the very thing that I was created to be. And what is that? An undeniable testament to the existence of divinity. You can't deny what I can do. I haven't even shown much of it. Even though it's simply a single-digit fraction of my actual capability, you cannot deny that I actually can do what I claim to be able to do. You can't deny it. And I can do what I'm able to do because this is how I was born. This is what I was created for. Everything I've said, pick it apart, it all comes down to one thing. My story never changes. My mission never changes. My purpose has always remained the same. Look at videos from, I think I started talking about this in 2017. This soul sanctuary, its purpose, its structure has never faltered. It's never been altered. It's always been the same thing. It's the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. This is all I know. What about you in your life has always been the same thing? If it's always been hardship and struggle, it's not because that's what you were created for. You experience that repeatedly to help train you to assist those who are experiencing it as well. Have you ever thought of that? That the things you experience are life training you, teaching you how to fulfill your purpose. I was stuck in a parking lot for quite a few months. I was technically homeless. I was technically transient for quite a few years. Who do you think I'm going to be helping? Every single last person who is a reflection, an external projection of the internal struggle and strife I experienced through life. And that's why I had to have a difficult life, so I can understand the gravity of what I'm here to do. I'm not mad about my life. I'm thankful for it. It's given me the type of clarity that I need for such an elevated type of purpose. And it's made sure, even in that elevation, even in that space of sacred favor, where I know divinity favors me, it's kept me very, very much in my place. I don't operate outside of what divinity allows me to do. I just don't. That's not a part of my character. That's not a part of me. I needed that instilled into me as a child, which it was. I'm not even impressed with aesthetics. That's, yeah. I know. Yeah. And could you imagine if I was just all about aesthetics? Oh, that would be horrendous. That would be so horrendous. Yeah, when I used to tell people that like my entire childhood, young adulthood, I never heard anything complimentary. There was never like, oh my God, you're so smart. Oh, you're so good. You're so helpful. Oh, you're so pretty. I never heard none of that. None of that, literally. None of that. I don't even remember hearing I love you. It was just kind of like a given, like, listen, quit complaining, do whatever you're told to do, get good grades, and don't give us any problems. Just do the work you're here to do. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that because of the way I was raised. I'm telling you, it was very Spartan like. It's like I fucking grew up in Sparta. I'm not even joking. It's like I grew up in Sparta. Yeah, no, I'm so far removed from the typical human struggle. So far removed from it. Just so far removed. I don't care that my belly's not flat. I don't care that I have a second chin. I just want to be healthy. I want a strong body so I can continue to live in a healthy way for as long as possible because it's going to take me a while to finish the work that I'm here to do. I know it's going to take my entire life. Mm-hmm. The moment I've accomplished enough, not the whole thing, but enough of what needed to be established, then I can go. Not a second before. And if you're tasked to change the world, I mean, not everyone's going to cooperate. So it's going to take a bit. And I want to be healthy. And that's it. Reassess your life. Reassess if the things that you have made your goal are really things that are important, or is it because you fell into someone else's trap of insecurity? And you fell into this compare program where you are comparing yourself to someone who's not you and you're competing with that, like, ooh, 99% at 918. Ooh, 99918. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9999. That's the highest level of divinity. Highest level of divinity. So 5 of Summer, trust that there is a reason for everything that happens. See what I'm saying? Remove yourself from the negative emotions of others, focusing on that which frightens or worries you. Now, you have to be aware of the things that frighten or worry you, right? You have to have an awareness of it so that you can prepare for it or avoid it. But to hyperfixate on it, to live in a space where you are immersed into it, what's that going to do for you? It's not going to do anything. It's going to amplify your fear. It's going to change the function of your brain. Did you know that if you are traumatized, if you are neglected, if you experience a really difficult childhood, it changes the anatomical structure of your brain. It changes the way your brain fires up. It changes the way your MRIs look, everything. It changes it. It changes it. But just because it's changed doesn't mean you're broken. You can learn to heal. You can learn to heal yourself. I want to do a workshop soon, one that's affordable for as many people as possible, where we kind of just go over the basics of energy and, maintaining yourself. It's just going to be an easy workshop. Would you guys like that? Where I teach you the basics of shielding. I teach you the basics of maintaining your chakras. I teach you the basics of like grounding and just kind of giving you the basics. God, my weeks are so full. I don't have a break for several more months. It's gonna be, we're gonna figure it out, okay? I think in 2 months, one of my programs ends, and I have a 2-week period between the start of the next program. So maybe we can, schedule it for then. It's probably going to be like end of April-ish, May time. It's just going to be a 1-day workshop, and it's going to be very inexpensive. And let's do that so we can all kind of have some like ground level understanding of our energy, our capability. And you guys, here's the thing. Oftentimes what stops people from taking my classes or doing the certification program, they have this really deeply rooted belief that like, there's no way I'm special. There's no way I can do the things, like I haven't taken classes. I haven't this, I haven't that. Yo, here's the thing. Everything that I teach basically contradicts everything you're going to find online. So when you've never taken any classes and you don't know anything about energy, it actually serves you better, because then we don't have to undo these things, these concepts that you've just like clung on to because you thought it was the truth. And typically what happens, and for those who have been in any of my like virtual workshops, events, things like that, if y'all could please just share, what typically happens is at the start of it, the participants believe that there's no way they could ever do anything with energy, but they want to try, right? Which that's honorable. By the end of it, everyone is totally like, oh my God. Oh my God. I was doing that? Yes. Why would I do energy work on you if I'm teaching you how to work your energy? You were doing that. That was all your energy. That was you. And suddenly they're all like, oh my God. Emmy, I'm powerful. Yes, that's what I've been telling you. You're powerful. It was never just me. Thank you, Justine. It was never just me. You guys, it's time to step into your understanding of your actual power. It really is. At least the basics of it. Having the basics will really help you to understand you're capable of so much more. The people who have been in my programs for some time now, who at the start, they were like, there's no way I can scan. I'm blind. Oh my God, stop. Now they're like some of the most potent scanners. I'm like, remember back then you said you couldn't scan? I'm over here like privately messaging you think you can scan me? I'm not feeling like myself today. Turns out it was just emotion, but yeah, we have a tendency to not believe in ourselves. We have a tendency to not believe in who we are, what we are here to do. And in that disbelief, you've cut yourself off. You've cut yourself off from everything that you already are. You're already all of these really amazing things. It's like that realization I came to yesterday doing the workbook stuff. Like, I wasn't chosen for this purpose. I was born to fulfill it. Ooh, that's deep. They had us write a mission statement, right? I'm going to read you guys my mission statement just because I didn't know what I was going to write, and I felt kind of weird writing stuff. But I was at a point where it's like, let me just write it just because I paid to be in this program. Let me just write it. And so I help the disadvantaged and disempowered to achieve whole being stability and autonomy by sharing my own story in sacred space in order to show them a tangible template they can utilize for their own self-healing journey without fear of condemnation, ostracism, shame, or guilt. The time for healing and spiritual growth, the time for reconnection to God is now. And then Michael told me to add this. He says, God gave you two hands to help, one to hold you steady, and the other to reach out to others to help. Let that sink in. In the grand design of things, you and your needs were also considered. You and your need for stability. Because how are you going to help being destabilized? You can't. You'll fall too. So God gave you two hands, one to hold yourself steady and the other to reach out to help. You matter. And I think the first step in realizing your purpose is understanding that you actually have the capacity to work your energy for yourself in a very powerful way. Very, very powerful, powerful way. And that brings us to the last card, High Priestess, trusting your intuition, careful reflection before taking action, insights that come through meditation. It also comes through the living of your life in the most authentic way possible, right? The living of your life in the way you were designed to live with both your hands. You cannot tie one hand behind your back and expect yourself to hold yourself steady while you help raise up other people. You cannot. That's not how you were designed. When you begin to function in the way you were designed to function, everything becomes so much easier. So much easier. Because that's what you were designed to do. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. Not enable them through the sacrificing of you, but pulling them up and helping them remember you got two hands too. You also have two legs. Use them. Stand up. Walk out. Hug yourself. Do for yourself. Create for yourself. What I'm here to do is not to enable people's sense of disempowerment. No. I'm here to remind you, you're just as powerful as me. Like, seriously, though. You have just as much gravity, just as much authority to co-create the most beautiful existence. Notice how it's a beautiful existence, not a pain-free one. Right? So I remember yesterday, there was a couple people and there was a conversation that was being had about some of the questions in the workbook. And I remember kind of getting lost in my own thoughts, listening, because it's these beautiful people who, excuse me, they've survived things. They've survived things that were really hard, really, really difficult, especially being a first-generation immigrant. It's hard. It's really, really hard. I'm a first-generation immigrant. And it was this thing of they want to help survivors. They want to show them how to survive. And I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the conversation because I didn't feel like, I needed to take everyone to church last night. They don't know anything about what I do, okay? I'm just like, I do public speaking. I don't know why I don't like telling people what I do. But, I got lost in thought because it was like this question that popped up as a person was talking about what they've survived and stuff. And they want to help survivors, other survivors. And, you know, I've been there. I've been that survivor. I've survived so much in life, but I'm not here to teach you how to survive. I'm here to show you the space after that place of thriving, that place of abundance and purpose. And then they asked in the workbook, list 3 words that describe you, describe your work, or something like that. And I remembered writing passion, purpose, and power. I'm passionate about my purpose, and my purpose creates power. Power not just for me, but for everyone who witnesses it. And then I had to sit and think for a little bit. And I had to reiterate to myself, yeah, I'm not here to simply show people how to survive. That's what we've been doing this whole time as humans, looking for ways to survive. And in that, only using half of our capability. Because if you only use half, you're only trying to survive. If you use the whole being of your potential, well, then you enter into a place of thriving, where you're actually thriving, where you're actually serving as a testament to the existence of a divinity so profound that it guides you to places of struggle in order to afford you the opportunity to learn how to exit it, to learn through juxtaposition the opposing polarities of thriving and struggle. We're here for so much more than you realize. We are here for so much more than you give yourself credit for. And one of the things that I want to leave you guys with, this thought: your potential can be seen by other people. And just because you can't see it yourself yet does not mean it doesn't exist yet. You have been who you have been your entire life, maintaining the same purpose, the same potency of potential. At some point, you're going to allow people who can see clearly to help guide you until you can see clearly for yourself. Don't listen to the people who are just as blind as you are right now. The people who cannot see your potential are not the people you should listen to. Why? Well, because they can't even see their own. You cannot expect them to uplift you if they have zero capacity or willingness to uplift themselves. They couldn't do it for themselves. They probably can't and won't do it for you. See, I've gotten myself in a hole, and I've gotten myself out of the hole, and I use that hole to plant the most beautiful orchard ever. So when I say I understand your potential and I see you, it's because my life has gifted me the clarity to. When I tell you you have potential, it's because you actually do. And many of you already know my integrity. I won't say things to you just to be sweet. If you're fucking up, I'll be like, yo, you fucking up. This is on you. You are the one fucking up. It's not other people. It's you, bruh. So, and those who know me, they know I'm not going to mince words. If it's you, if you the drama, I'm going to hand you your crown and be like, bitch, here's your crown. You the drama queen and king and the entire fucking court. Okay. Yes. All right. You guys have potential. It's time to tap into it. It's time to recognize where you need to go within your journey, okay? Let me just see. We are at wow. We are $186 away from the total amount needed to file for my faith-based organization. Just in this live stream, you guys have gifted my organization $2,311. I used to think humanity wasn't ready. I wonder if it was just me that wasn't. I wasn't ready to see, so I didn't want to say. Because every time I say things, you guys prove it to be true. We're at $2,311. So all we need is $186. And we have a faith-based organization. $186 is all that's left. Wow. You guys raise $2,311. Wow. Wow. Oh, we're now at $2,321. Oh my gosh, you guys. Whatever goes beyond the amount that's needed, that's earmarked for future projects. This is, yeah. Oh, wow. Yes. Oh, well, it's less than 186 now because we're at 2,321. So I think you take $25 off, it would be 160. I don't know. This is too much math. Hold on. 231.21. Hold on. No, that's what? Sorry, guys. 23.21. Okay, hold on. 23.21 minus. We only need $176. 176 is all we need left. And I'll be able to go to the registering agents and I'll be able to register. And with that, I do believe, don't quote me, but I do believe they have said all donations are tax deductible. This is a federally recognized faith-based organization. So technically, once this once this becomes official, every live stream, every single live stream will be church. So it's gonna be church. Okay, welcome to church. So I can't say bad words anymore. I'm traditional in that way. I cannot say any more bad words. Let's see. Can you stay on 15 more minutes? Oh, there. Thank you, Teresa. So yeah, I'll pull one more card. Okay. Let's pull it from Rumi. I love Rumi's poems. You guys, oh my gosh. So part of what I wanted to do is have an online community as I work ever so diligently to as I work ever so diligently to establish a physical location. So I want there to be a physical location. If you know people, or if you are someone who would like some type of live-in work experience, I mean, these plans are still far down the road, but I would like to lay the seeds for them now. We're going to need people who are botanists, people who know how to function as a ranch hand, possibly people who are veterinary experts. I want to be able to raise at least some livestock, chickens, goats, possibly even cows. I don't know yet. I would love, love, love to have a large section. Um, we have enough. Thank you, Shannon. We have enough. We officially have enough to file. Wow, guys. Wow. I'm actually speechless for once. um, wow. Wow. This is this is phenomenal. This is oh wow. I know. I love you guys so much. I love you guys so much. And you guys have no idea how crucial, what an integral part of my journey and my development you all have been. Like literally, literally. It's been this thing of like, I don't think I would have been able to blossom to the degree that I have without all of you consistently taking turns watering me and moving my pot around to get as much of the sun as possible. You guys have seriously been amazing, and you've been helping to very much heal the parts of me that have been so conditioned. And yes, I've been conditioned to not allow people to know my struggle, to not allow people to give to me, to not allow myself to receive anything. This is literally how I have been programmed since childhood. And it makes for a very good worker, but it doesn't make for a good leader. Oh, wow. I remember a few years ago, there was this drama in the spiritual community on Facebook. It's just this drama, right? And someone had privately messaged me to basically curse me out because they felt like I wasn't being a good leader. And I was just like, wait, what? What are you even talking about? Leader? I'm not no leader. I didn't ask to be no leader. I didn't volunteer. I don't want to be your leader. What are you talking about? And it's been a few years of a journey. That was in 2017. It's been about 5 years now, right? 5 years for me to come to terms with the reality that I actually am a leader. That sounds weird. That sounds weird. But that's what I am. As much as I don't want to, that's what I am. And Michael says to me, you know what they say? The best leaders are the ones who don't want to lead. The best leaders are the ones that people choose to lead them out of darkness, out of sorrow. Thank you for choosing me, for having faith in me, and for most of all, supporting and healing me. It's huge. It's huge. Okay, card number 27. Okay. The angel Rasbar. Tell me the truth, I asked love. What are you? I am the everlasting life, love said. I am the recurring joy of living. The master speaks of a den of riches where many precious jewels can be found. In abundance they lie, patient and yet ready to be claimed. Go scoop them up, urges the master. The devoted ones look but cannot see. Where are these precious jewels, they cry, for we cannot find them anywhere. The master gazes lovingly at the devoted ones and responds kindly. In service, my beloveds, you shall find the jewels through service. For what is the soul but the finest and most precious of heavenly jewels? What is service but the scooping up of the soul that it does not lie lost nor unclaimed, but instead honored for all its precious worth and beauty, tended to until it becomes vibrant as a flawless ruby, radiant with the joy of living. Divine contribution is offered to those who wish to contribute to the world. The great beloved sees what's in your heart, what it is you wish to offer, and is saying yes. So you're being empowered to serve, to assist, to offer a genuine spiritual contribution to this planet. To become a sacred hand at work for the will of heaven. Such is the capacity bestowed upon the soul that is wise and filled with love, and therefore deserving to serve. So then do not doubt yourself. You've been blessed by the Master, to find the precious jewels of your own soul and claim it. Cast aside your doubts. Perhaps this is not easy for you to do. Perhaps you look at the world, even your chosen field of endeavor, and already you hear so many voices speaking. You may wonder if your own contribution would simply add noise to a cacophony. You may wonder if you can really help, if you have anything genuine to add, or if there's just too much noise anyway. You may hesitate and become fearful. Do not despair. It's part of your divine destiny to add something of great value. Something that has its place, even amongst all the activity. Something needed absolutely in the hearts of all. That precious gift is the true silence. The true silence is peace. It is the living experience of the eternal love of the divine that asks nothing but to be received and gives of itself unconditionally. That silence is present underneath even the most noise, even if one knows how to access it. The true silence can only be felt through the beautiful feeling heart. When you know how to feel for it, to surrender to it, you can transmit silence in many ways. Through the peace you cultivate in your heart, in your own daily living, through your presence, through your art, even through your voice, written, sung, or spoken. Yes, even though sound, if that is your path of service. Silence can emanate through your voice, and divine silence can be felt in the hearts of others. The true and great silence, as you may now realize, my dear angel, is not the absence of sound. It is the experience of the divine presence of love. So shall you trust in the wisdom of the Master who bids you to serve, to serve according to the graces you've been given. Will you choose to put aside your doubts and instead believe in yourself and the power of divine love that will reach out to the world through your willing soul? Yes, I knew your brave heart would accept this empowerment. I knew you wanted to serve more than you wanted to fear. Whatever is in your heart is the method by which the great jewels shall be collected. The Master teaches us that we are built to serve according to a higher perfection. So if to dance is in your heart, then dance. Be open and free. Do not hide. Dance. If prayer is in your heart, then pray. If you can feed the poor with food, if you give the despairing kindness, the lost your words, and those who have turned away from the great Master a healing touch, then do so. Do so without doubt, without having to be the best or the greatest or any other notion your mind conjures. Just be willing. Willingness, not perfection, is required from you. So then there is room for freedom to awaken in you. Willingness opens you to divine assistance, and through that empowerment, even greater joy of being will grow within your sacred heart. Your service can flow from simply being yourself in the world, completely and utterly. Your radiance can become one of the sacred candles of the Holy Master. There are many candles that hold the Master's light, and yet each one of them is precious beyond compare. Be such a light. Scoop up the jewels through your service, and do not render yourself incapable through nightmares of false imaginings and smallness of mind. Yes, your heart is too big for your mind, and it will break open, but that's okay. Do you think you only serve love and are not also served by love? The helpers are always helped. This is love's way. Do you feel as though you are a foreigner in this land? Angel Rasbar will show you the way then, for she knows you from a long, long time ago, though you might have temporarily forgotten the acquaintance. She is a great hostess and guide in this terrain of divine love, and she remembers you. You who are great of heart and capable of contribution. You who are now signing up for service in the great work of love. Yes, there is work for you to do. Your purpose is bestowed. Serve, assist, do not hold back for any reason. Not one reason you could imagine is worthy of you. So then aliveness, so then service, so then joy. Help and be helped. That is the way for you now. This oracle comes to you with guidance. You are being guided deeper into your life purpose and divine destiny. Like a maturing adult who is ready to take on the mantle of a greater responsibility, your soul is stepping up. You're going through a process of assuming more spiritual responsibility for the honest and empowered expression of your own essence. And through that, your healing presence in the world is increasing. You are stepping up and forward onto your path. That is appropriate now. It will make you more visible, but that is as it should be. It is not about being worth more than another. It is about the utterly sensible use of light, that it not be dampened down by a shade, but instead be placed where it can cast its fullness so that others, still in darkness, may find their way more easily. This is efficient, intelligent, and sensible. Your success and growth is drenched in compassion and brings joy to the heart of the Master as another and another find their way, benefiting from the light of your being. So shine true. Be humble but not dismissive of your gifts. Allow others to find their way more easily because you choose to honor the power of the great silence that emanates through you, even evermore as you trust and surrender. This oracle brings special messages of reassurance that you are making progress and are indeed on the right path. Although it may not unfold exactly as you anticipate, it will indeed unfold. You are making a positive impact in the world more than you consciously realize, and you're asked, therefore, to continue. Do not give up. Do not turn back. Just continue. Take your steps, your journey, and know that the great master is aware of you and is sending the holy ones, including that wise ancient mother, Angel Rasbar, to bring you the blessing of the true silence now. Let it clear and soothe your mind and heart and help you remember the peace that dwells within you. All is well. That was the card that I was talking about. Earlier, that was a card that I was talking about that I had said, um, there's no point in hiding a light away. That if you serve as a candle in a time of darkness, you should be elevated so many, many more can benefit from the truth and compassion that emanates from you. This is the start of the world changing. And it's going to happen very quickly. Very, very quickly. Anyone who knows me personally knows I work extremely efficiently. Especially when I'm hyperfixated. I'm hyperfixated on peace. I'm hyperfixated on change. It's going to happen. And this is the year that it starts. I want to thank you guys again. Everyone here, especially everyone who donated. I know we are existing in a time of scarcity right now. This is temporary. This is temporary. But I want to acknowledge that I know most of us do not just have funds laying around. And it is such a blessing and such a gift for you to give to such an important cause for me. I know this was not an easy decision, and you honor me with your generosity. I'm going to not just live up to your expectation. I'm going to exceed it, simply because that's who I am and that is what I do. I always exceed expectation. So be ready, guys. Be ready and join me for church, 7 a.m. every day. Oh my God. You know, my mom used to force me to go to church every day at 7 a.m. I've become my mother. I love you guys. See you at church tomorrow, 7 a.m. right here. I'll see you guys. I love you. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Go on over to the soulsanctuary.love. If you want to join the membership, you're absolutely invited to. I'll be posting a whole bunch of different updates there until I get the organization's website up and running. We're called Soulwork Synergistics. How synergistic is this? The coming together of all these components to empower the divine whole. That's amazing. All right, guys, I better go. I'm late now. I love you guys so much. And again, thank you for everyone who's here, and especially all the people who were able to donate. I know so many of you wanted to donate and are just not able to right now. Your needs are also important. Do not feel badly. But thank you guys so much. I love you.